Thank you. Today is Thursday, February 15th, 2024. It is 3 p.m. I'd like to call to order the regular council meeting held at the Township office at 19 Parnell Street. Resolution, please.
Be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Greater Madawaska calls to order the February 15th, 2024 regular council meeting at 3 p.m.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Popke, second. Councillor Levesque. Thank you. So carried, all in favor? So carried. If we could now stand for O Canada, please. Thank you. Please be seated. As we gather in chambers, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of council and our community that we are meeting on the unceded traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history. And we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We'd also like to thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land over thousands of years. Thank you, Miigwech. I'd just like to point out that Councillor Thompson is on Zoom for this meeting today, and that we had late information that Councillor Tripp had an unforeseen circumstance and was not able to make it to this council meeting today. So just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. Section 2.1, approval of agenda. Are there any additions, deletions, or excused? Resolution, please.
That the agenda of the council meeting of February 15th, 2024 be approved as presented.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson, second Councillor Levesque. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Section 3.1, approval of minutes. Resolution 25-23.
Be it resolved that the following minutes are approved by council. January 18th, 2024 regular council meeting and January 29th, 2024 special council meeting.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Levesque, second Councillor Popke. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Section 3.2, Resolution 26-23. Resolution, please.
Be it resolved that the following minutes are accepted by council. December 1st, 2024 Canada Day Committee.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Levesque, second by Councillor Popke. Do we have any background that needs to be discussed? We've all received this in advance. There is none seen. All in favor? So carried. Are there any declaration of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? There is none seen. Thank you. We'll now move on to Section 5, Public Works. 5.1, Hudson Lake Road Agreement, Purchase of Land, Resolution 27-23.
That the council directs staff to enter into an agreement of purchase and sale with Sharon Halloran for the acquisition and assumption of a portion of Hudson Lake Road to expand the turnaround area.
Okay, do we have a mover? Councillor Popke, second by Councillor Levesque. Background, please.
So in 2023, we redid Hudson Lake Road, and Hudson Lake Road at the end never did have a turnaround. It just, the road kind of ended and went into driveways, and there was no proper turnaround. And so background is, in 2023, Township finalized the construction of Hudson Lake Road, which now includes a larger turnaround area. Before the construction, the road terminated into 3 driveways branching off. One which had poor sight lines and posed challenges for plow truck to maneuver and get turned around without getting stuck. Township staff engaged with the property owner, conducting a site visit and assessing the feasibility of excavation, considering the rocky terrain in Madawaska area. So this just means that normally we would go there ahead of time and we would purchase this land and then build this, but there was quite a hump of dirt there, and we were really scared there was going to be a pile of rock and we couldn't do what we wanted to do there. So the landowners were great to deal with, and they just said, well, why don't we see if we can dig it first? And so this is the reason why we're doing this one the way we did, was just to make sure that we could actually dig the proper area, and we did. So we're moving forward with the agreement.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Councillor Thompson?
I just have a quick question. I remember there was some dispute between the neighbors down at that end of who owned the road that goes past the first neighbor into Sharon's land. And was that resolved? And with this purchase, is it for sure that we're buying Sharon Holleran's land and it's not going to be in dispute with the other neighbor? Like, we're clear on who owns that?
Yeah, we had the surveyors go in and mark where the property was that the township already owned. So we knew where all the property bars are when we first started it. So yes, we know where the property line.
I assume so, but I just didn't want anything to come up later. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from council? There are none seen. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Section 5.2, Madawaska Road Agreement Transfer of Land, Resolution 28-23.
That council directs staff to enter into an agreement of purchase and sale with Alan and Joanne Pinnock for the acquisition and assumption of the portion of Madawaska Road that is located on their property.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Levesque, second by Councillor Popke. Background, please.
So as part of the 2023 capital budget, council approved the preparation work required to complete the portion of Madawaska Road in 2024. The Pennock's approached staff and mentioned that section of Madawaska Road is in the area of Pennock Lane, is in their ownership, and they would like to have the issue rectified. The township, in preparation, commenced reconstruction of Madawaska Road in the summer of 2024. Township staff conducted a survey of the area, confirming the existence of the small portion of the road on the Pennock's property. Following negotiations, township staff and the Pennock's have reached an agreement that township will transfer 1,398 square meters of the township road allowance, which the Pennock's have utilized as their driveway for an extended period of time. In exchange, the township will receive 514 square meters of the land addition to the township road. Will cover supplementary expenses related to the transaction, including survey work, legal consultant, and the land transfer fees. So this area, we're just trying to do an exchange. Part of, I'm going to say part of one lane of the Madawaska Road where it is now is on the Pennock's property. And just north of this area, there's a real bad hill we want to try and fix when we do the construction. So we're going to have to put some material in, raise the road. When that means we're going to be going wider. So we're already we're getting more property than what the one lane is. We're getting more into the trees so that if we have to fill out, we'll have the area to do so. And the only reason we're giving the more square meters and the Penixes, we just went with the driveway that they're using already. That's the only reason. It wasn't any more part of the deal. It was just, they're already utilizing this area as their driveway, so that was the only reason it was a bigger amount than what we're getting.
Perfect. Thank you. Is there any questions from council? There are none seen. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. 5.3, Black Donald Pit Expansion Information Item. Background, please.
So, the township owns a gravel pit on Hydro Dam Road across from the Black Donald waste site right now. We are looking to get an expansion because our property line and our pit line is at the top of this steep embankment. And as per regulations, we have to keep it at such a side slope that we can't dig into this bank anymore. So we're trying to get this expansion to utilize that. But we're also having some issues with, getting a lot of tenders in for winter sand lately, and not many tenders. This way, the township could utilize this for their screening of winter sand. Once we get into it more, you might be able to crush some gravel there. Like, there's all kinds of options. And I think it's a real good thing to have for the township in their back pocket. If something needs to happen at the township's waste sites, we have all the fill right across the road. Like, if they ask us to cover it or close a section of it, like, it's all right close by, so. Is there anything else, Kirsten, you want to add?
Sure, I can touch on that. So essentially just the reports and information item in terms of that we're wanting to expand the Black Donald pit. And in doing so, that requires a new application to the MDMNRF, which is the Northern Development of Mines, Natural Resources and Forestry. And in doing so, it also needs to be supported by a ton of technical reports, which we don't have the expertise to complete in-house. So we're going into RFP to have that done outside. And then we'll also have our current consultant, EcoView, which will help support us in completing the application as well. So it'll be a joint effort, but essentially that's what we're doing. So we're just letting council know that it'll be coming soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Any question from any council? Councillor Popke.
I just want to clarify, are you planning on moving the waste site across the road to the gravel pit, or building off the existing waste site that's there right now?
The expansion of the waste site is on the same site the waste site is on now.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions from council? Thank you, Steve and Kristen, for that. And I'm quite impressed that you remember what the acronym stood for. So that's wonderful. Thank you for that information. We will now move on to section 5.1, Joint Road Operation Reviews, Resolution 29-23. Resolution, please.
That council receive the joint roads operational review as information.
Thank you. Mover? Actually, do we need a mover for information item? Okay. Mover, Councillor Vec, second by Councillor Popke. Or Councillor Thompson. Sorry, time delay on the Zoom, my apologies. Background, please.
So as you could see, this review began back in 2021. So we have the township worked jointly with the township of Amundsen Romley and Whitewater region to complete a review on our roads. The intent of the RFP was to complete a review on connecting roads and to increase efficiencies between operational equipment use and those types of items. You will probably review the report and see that that's not necessarily what the RFP or the consultant has completed. The consultant proceeded with the report. We received it in June of 2022, and you could see there's various reiterations of the report where we're trying to adjust and get to the intent of the RFP was to have, we assumed some sort of roadmap to increase efficiencies. With that said, the consultant believed that we needed to adjust some other items within our operations to increase efficiencies. So you'll see there's 23 recommendations within this report. Some are achievable and we're working towards, such as an asset management coordinator, digitalization we're looking at, those types of items. And then there's items that we may never pursue, such as, shared mechanics and just certain things that may not work at this time. So at this point, we're just receiving the report, and as we are able to implement some of the recommendation, we would do so.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Councillor Levesque.
Thanks for the report. It was really extensive, 132 pages, so well done. Thank you. So just a clarification, are you saying that what the report delivered was not quite what was in the RFP?
That is correct.
Okay.
And it contributed to the delay in coming back to council. All the municipalities, MS and Bromley, Whitewater region are in the same boat. They've all presented a few weeks ago and one this week. We're having to move forward with the report as is. However, once we may pursue a review as what we were looking for in the future.
Okay. And just to follow up to that. Yep. So as far as the 23 recommendations, 3 underway, as far as the other 20 remaining, you're just going to go through all those and determine which ones are going to be realistic and doable, and then you'll work together with the other 2 municipalities and determine. Or is it specifically just for us? That's
correct. The recommendations are for all 3. So we continue to work together with joint projects, for example, that asset management coordinator. So we'll continue to pursue the recommendations that are feasible for our townships.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Thompson.
Yes, I'm curious about the part where you mentioned more coordination with the county. How is that going? Is that going to happen, and how will that be approached among the 3 municipalities?
I guess I'll ask you to clarify about the coordination with the county piece.
Well, there was within the, I don't know which page, but it said that county roads need some coordination with county roads, that kind of thing. I mean, 132 pages, but there were recommendations in there that the county should be part of this in some ways.
Yeah, so we continue to pursue areas where we feel either the county should take lead on, or we should work with the county within the recommendations.
Thank you. Any follow-up, supplemental? No? Okay. Any other questions from council? No, I have just a couple of observations. WSCS Consulting, normally when we have a package and portfolio put before us from a consultant, they usually do a presentation so that we can ask questions directly to them. Is it just that it's unfeasible for them to get here? Are they too busy, or just didn't want to attend, or?
The townships work together to try to have the consultant present to council, and we weren't able to arrange a date where it was feasible for all to meet.
Thank you. The other question I have is on, I guess it's page 3 of our, I guess it's the title page of the actual document. It says draft 2022, final 2022, November 2022, March 2023, August, and it goes on. Is there any way we can consolidate that to just have, here's the draft and the final iteration of it?
The consultant refused to remove that section of the report to finalize as a final date.
Thank you. Alrighty. No, it really didn't fulfill what the RFP for this was, but if it's, I guess we can take it as information as given to us. All in favor to receive it? That is unanimous. We will receive this as information. Thank you. Section 6.1, Protection Services Department, Bylaw 10-2024, Appointment of Fire Chief.
That council approve bylaw 10-2024 being a bylaw to appoint Tyler Jordan as fire chief for the Township of Greater Madawaska.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Levesque. Do we need any background, if you would like?
I do. So I want to emphasize a bit. So Tyler has been with the fire department for some 13 years, 13 years. His whole life.
Started very, very tiny.
He's served in various capacities, including fire prevention officer, training officer, captain, district fire chief, and then in the absence of the fire chief has been acting fire chief. So we're very fortunate to have him join our team in a full-time capacity as our fire chief for the township.
Thank you. All in favor? That is unanimous. Welcome, sir. Congrats. Thank you. Thank you very much. And Lois is doing the virtual handshake. That's great, and I thank you for taking on this role. Very good. Would you like to say anything?
So I'd like to start by thanking you guys. Over my 13 years with Greater Madawaska, I've witnessed a lot of changes, and I'm really excited to see where this one takes us. We're really lucky to have the excellent team that we do in this township. On the fire department, they're constantly working to better our department, so I'm lucky to have them standing behind me, and I look forward to serving the community.
Thank you. We will now move on to section 7.1, bylaw 12-0242, clean yards. Resolution, please.
That council adopt bylaw 12-2024, clean yards.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Levesque. Seconder, Councillor Thompson. Okay, background, please.
So the intent of this bylaw is to serve as or in conjunction and support of the property standards bylaw 75-2020. This bylaw is intended to be serve more as a simple property standards issues relating to clean yards, whereas the current property standards bylaw is intended for more complex issues. So the intent today was to seek council to pass this bylaw. With that said, we have received a few questions regarding if this bylaw should be a separate bylaw versus as part of the property standards bylaw. And then I've had some questions from council regarding components of the bylaw, such as the right of entry, and then some questions around the implementation date. And I would like to take that away and review that further before we're passing it. So I would request that council defer this to the next council meeting. And obviously, if you have any further questions, you may raise them and we would consider them in the review.
Thank you. Any comments from, I guess we have to move this first.
No, we didn't.
Pardon? We've already moved it. Never mind, that was background. Sorry. Any questions from council? Councillor Thompson.
Yeah, I like that we're deferring it because there are a whole bunch of things in here that my property wouldn't pass on. We have we have a large acreage and we only mow a certain amount of that area just to keep, fire safety. And, we let all the wildflowers bloom and then we cut the dandelions, then we cut the, and 6 inches on, I don't know how many acres. Anyhow, I'm just glad we're deferring it because we really need to discuss how it works. This is good for an urban property, but how it works in a rural setting.
Thank you. Any other questions from council this time? Councillor Levesque?
Just a couple for Renee. Thanks, Renee, for that. I think, as I mentioned to you earlier, I think it's an opportunity to maybe combine them both and update the previous one as well, the property standards, just to kind of fit with what it was done, 5 years ago or whatever to now. But as Lois pointed out, even the grass cutting, like some people may, I don't know if they do now, but in in Calabogie or other areas like that, they may choose to let their grass grow and have wildflowers and that kind of thing. So we got to, I think, consider some of those things. But I do think one bylaw would be beneficial for everybody, including you guys and anybody trying to figure out what's part of it. But rather than maintain two, that was just my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from council? No, I think that tabling it and putting it to our next meeting.
So with that said, given there's going to be more questions, I'm going to ask to defer it to the April meeting to ensure we have enough time to review it properly. And then I believe all we need to do is vote on deferring it.
Okay, that's correct. Thank you. So I guess since we have no other questions, do we need to just vote to defer? We don't need another motion? Okay, so all in favor to defer this to the to the April council meeting? Thank you. All in favor, so carried. Deferred to to the April. Section 7.2, Planning, Resolution 32-23.
That council directs staff to engage with the County of Renfrew regarding the official plan as it pertains to the Township of Greater Madawaska.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Popke, second Councillor Thompson. Background, please.
The intent of this resolution is to seek approval from council to explore options for review of the official plan as it applies to the Township of Greater Madawaska and its developments. A component of our strategic plan is growth management, and council's been passionate about this. And we had in December, the County of Renfrew present the township's role in development, as well as recently there's a training session. So there's been a lot of knowledge sharing and learning of what is our role and what we can do. And we're thinking that it would be a good idea to proceed and explore those options with the county. At this point, what you would be approving is for staff to work with the county to see what would be required, if it would be an initial plan amendment or whatnot, and then staff would be coming back to council to present the next steps, and if there's consultant fees and costs associated with pursuing this, what would that look like?
Thank you. Any questions from council? Councillor Levesque?
Thank you. Given the interest in planning, because it was a big thing with our strategic plan as well as the election and so on, giving the next steps, and it could be a premature question, do we see the public being involved in some of those inputs for this?
When developing, so we'll be using our planner, the consultant, to pursue this. So I believe this should be part of the review, and when it comes back to council, you'll be able to recommend that, and I'll make sure they know that we would like that considered as part of the development of this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from council? There are none seen. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you. Section 8.1, the RED grant application, resolution 33-23.
That council support the township's application for the Rural Economic Development Grant Program for the fabrication and installation of wayfinding signage.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Levesque, second by Councillor Thompson. Background, please.
In 2023, the township was approved to we're successful in receiving grant funding from the RED grant to complete the marketing strategy, and this is underway at this point. The RED grant has opened up again, and the intent here now is to consider implementation based off the plan. Recognizing the plan has not been finalized, we have been presented with findings, at this point, the deadline for this grant is February 21st, so we have an opportunity to consider this ahead of the strategy being adopted by council. And I'm going to defer more detail into the application process to Jenna McEwen, our new community development coordinator.
Thank you, and welcome, Jenna.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here. So I really delved into this since starting last week. There wasn't a large timeline in order to get this application in. However, there has been a lot of great information that's been brought back from the report of findings. One of the key aspects that we're really seeing is that local businesses feel a slight disconnect from the township in ways of support and promotion for their local businesses, especially regarding signage. I actually took some time today to go out and introduce myself in person to a few of the businesses here in the area. This position, as well as this grant application, was very well received. They're very excited for more promotion for their local businesses. I think one of the main things that we're seeing with Greater Madawaska is with more rural communities, businesses are dispersed. We don't have a main downtown core that people are drawn to on a regular basis, meaning that oftentimes when people pass through to get to their key destination, they're missing a lot of our businesses along the way. So I stopped in at Somewhere In, TTS 508, Tom Irwin Adventure Tours, as well as Ooh Allah, the cafe, and On the Rocks, the owner was there as well. So I was able to talk to a lot of members of the community, and they're very excited about this effort with this new position. The grant application is one that you can use for a variety of different signage throughout the township, especially being so dispersed. So we can kind of distribute it along the way as kind of markers. So the goal is, I've already gone out to get some rough quotes from different companies that I worked with in the past at the town of Renfrew, just to kind of give an idea of what we're thinking. So main signage when you enter into some of the villages to kind of direct you to where different things are located, as well as markers as you make your way through. So smaller signs that are more in tune with like road signs, the street names and stuff like that, that tell you turn left here for Eagle's Nest, or turn left here to find the Redneck Cafe kind of thing. And when going over it, I actually brought out letters of support that I had drafted to local businesses, and we've already received 3 back, and I was only out on tour today. So I can see from the community that they're really, really excited to have more voice within the township. They're really excited about council's support for this application, and we're already getting letters of support that can be included in the grants. So there's been a lot of work done, and I think hopefully, knock on wood, we're going to be very successful with this one.
Thank you. Anything further? None? Any questions from council? Councillor Levesque.
Great initiative, and I think it'll be fantastic to get more marketing out there. And on that topic, I guess right now we have our marketing strategy that's wrapping up. I assume that's going to be aligned with what's happening there as well.
Yeah, so in the marketing, the report of findings that came back for the marketing strategy, the signage was one of the ones that was a concern within the community. As was promotion of local businesses. So I've actually reestablished or created new relationships with OVED, OVTA, Ontario Highlands, and a few other ones, Enterprise Renfrew County. So through those partnerships, I'm really working to promote everything that Greater Madawaska has to offer and try to instill a feeling of excitement over growth and forward strategies for the community.
And just one quick follow-up on the same topic. You may have seen some preliminary reports back from the marketing strategy. Is there any talk of the logo changing at all, or and if so, I assume that'll all be part of it?
So that I would like to do in conjunction with this grant. Right. So actually, I worked with Syntax in the past. They did the rebranding for Whitewater, Town of Renfrew, and Pembroke. So they were great. I literally just talked to them yesterday, and they've already got me back some drafts and a formal quote that I can include with the application. Right. So ideally, if we're looking at rebranding, I would like to do that in conjunction, because you don't want to go ahead and print all of these signs and then do a rebranding.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
To add to that,
Go ahead.
to add to that is, so as part of the marketing strategy, the grant covered, or the project within Cinnamon Toast is to cover the strategy and a plan And then we are to, depending on the implementation of whichever item they have within the plan, we will be able to move forward. And there's going to be a strong recommendation from the consultant to consider branding. When the plan comes to council, it's to come in March. Council will be able to approve the implementation item that we would like to pursue. And then we would be able to do it in conjunction with this grant.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councillor Thompson?
Hi, I think this is fantastic. It's wonderful. One of the things I'm excited about is one of the things that came up with the Griffith Mile safety review. It was a meeting we had, I think 2 years ago now, with the MTO OPP and the community to go over safety. And one of the recommendation was better signage outside of the village of Griffith so that it doesn't just look, most of the community is off the road in the trees, but there are all kinds of driveways and businesses that enter that passing lane. Anyhow, signage to say, yes, this is a village was a big part of it. And if there's signage saying, here's a store, here's a gas station, just in that one strip, it's not only going to be better for the economy, but it'll be better for visibility as establishing that this is a community. So it's safety as well. Thank you. And welcome. This is great.
Thank you. Any other questions from council? None seen, but one thing I don't know whether it would fall under this because it's not a promotion of a business or anything, but across our township, we have many historical sites that are just sort of set aside, and there's no real signage saying that here's a historical plaque here, or there's a historical situation or in that area. So I'm just wondering, would this grant also cover items such as that? Because history is so big in this area as well.
So I think the intent of the signage is not just to promote local businesses, to promote the recreational and natural amenities and historic sites that we have here in town too. So this won't just be designated towards local businesses. I'd like to include historical sites, different landmarks and stuff like that on this as well, because there are a lot of tourism that happens specifically for that. For example, Eagle's Nest or a lot of the other locations here in town. So I'd like to see the sign kind of encompass as much as we can within the township, as well as those mile marker signs to direct you to the roads that you can take to get to those historic sites.
Thank you. If there are no other questions from council, Councillor Thompson.
Just one last thing. A lot of our community, it's very different ends of the community with different needs and amenities. Will there be built into this grant money for community consultation over what are our historic sites? I'm not sure if I know what they all are. That sort of thing. Just will you be building in some money for community consultation?
Within the grant, it'll be more for the installation and development. That's not saying that at the staff level, we can't have some community consultation for the how we would proceed with the actual signage. At this time, when we were applying for the grant, it'll be a bit more high level on the details on how this will, what will be included within the process for us.
Thank you. Any other questions from council? There are none seen. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you. Moving on to 8.2, bylaw 11-2024, capital projects debenture, resolution 34-23.
That council approve bylaw 11-2024, which is a bylaw to authorize the submission of an application to Ontario Infrastructure and Lands Corporation for the borrowing of $508,556 in the form of a 10-year debenture for the Madawaska Road Capital Works project to fund the development charge portion of the project.
Okay, do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson, second, Councillor Levesque. Background, please.
Good afternoon. So as per the 2024 capital budget, Council approved the capital project of Madawaska Road. A recap of this project includes ditching, new culverts, guide rails, pulverizing old surface treatment, adding gravel, and upgrading from LCB to HL4. And the total length of this project is approximately 2.5 kilometers. A debenture of approximately $508,556 is required to fund the development charge portion of this project. The interest and principal will be funded by the future development charge revenue. And as per the requirements of the Infrastructure Ontario and Lands Corporation, a signed and sealed bylaw is required to process and approve a loan application. Therefore, today at this stage, Council is approving with proceeding with an application.
Thank you. Question from council? There is none seen. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you. We now move on to section 9.1, Recreation and Culture Committee. Councillor Levesque.
Thank you, and I'm pleased to report, this is the first report of the new committee that was just formed. The first meeting was on January 24th, and all the committee members were in attendance. One additional community member was received past the submission deadline and was brought forward for consideration and addition, so all agreed that we should allow that to happen. So addition to the committee is Kate Zeal. And now we have a total of 6 committee members per the terms of reference, all of which are from Ward 1 with exception of 1, which is from Ward 3. So we don't have anybody from Ward 2 as yet. Following introductions and nomination of the chair was initiated for 1 nomination for Don Dilks, which was passed. And the committee discussed the terms of reference and had an opportunity to ask questions and assuring the importance of all the committee members understanding the broad role of the committee, as well as the collaboration and inclusiveness across the entire township were highlighted. And that communication and engagement efforts would be continuous and a conscious effort. So I'm sure you've heard about that. So it's really important that we get across the entire township with all of what we do. And therefore, Ward 2 and 3 contacts beyond Ward 1, we'll certainly engage and make a stronger effort to do that. Under goals and priorities, the committee moved to a brainstorming of the recreation and culture opportunities. And during the discussion, it was highlighted that although we had identified a number of resources and things that were already available, we felt there was a need to understand what the community was looking for and what people were requesting from the committee. So therefore, we have put together an online survey, which is out currently. It was launched on February 9th and closes on the 26th of February. So with that, with the inventory of everything we know and what we have, coupled with what we will get from the community, we'll have a pretty good idea of what it is we need to move forward with in terms of goals and opportunities. And the next meeting is on March 6th. And we'll discuss the results of the survey and start the development of the goals and opportunities. Also to be confirmed, there may be a delegation opportunity with current working groups that we know that are out there and pull things together for the committee. And I'll open up for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Councillor Thompson.
Okay, just lost my cursor. I think this is great that it's involving all parts of the township. And I like that you're working with the existing community groups to do things, because we have a wealth of volunteers and a wealth of many different groups who are doing things, but a lot of them are the same volunteers on several committees. So this coordination is important. I know in the past it's been done that the committee would come up, well, what can we do to bring recreation forward? And they would find out they just couldn't pull anything new together. But there's a lot already going on, so it's a matter of adding to it. And I really do like this whole holistic approach that includes the existing communities and probably will include the fun things that are going on with businesses. So yeah, this is great. I like it.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns from council? None. And I just want to thank you, Jeff, and the entire committee for going forward with this and working hard. It's We have so many volunteers in this community, and now they have a central place to come to and be able to discuss things, and so that there's not cross functions going on at the same time. And so I welcome to see what comes from this committee, and I want to thank all the volunteers for stepping up and being part of it. So thank you.
Thank you.
We move now on to section 10.1, Mississippi Rideau Source Protection Community, SPC Representative, Resolution 35-23.
Whereas the Mississippi Rideau Source Protection Committee term expires in 2024, and whereas Eleanor Renault has served on the SPC since 2007, and whereas Eleanor Renault has expressed interest in renewing her term on the SPC, and whereas the SPC expressed that her continued presence on the committee would be beneficial, now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Greater Madawaska endorse Eleanor Renault to continue to represent the no municipal drinking water system municipalities on the Mississippi Rideau Source Protection Committee.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Popke, second by Councillor Levesque. Any background? Anyone? Do you want me to read?
I can just say that
Okay.
the project manager from the Drinking Water Source Protection for the Mississippi Rideau Source Protection Region, she sent us a letter saying that the member needed to be reappointed for the new coming term, and as the resolution says, expressed that Ms. Renaud was interested in staying on the committee and that her presence would be beneficial. So, yeah.
Thank you. And I'd like to express to Ms. Renaud that she's been on there since 2007 and is still willing to take it on, shows that her resolve and also her concern about this. So I think she's a great representative for us on this. If there are no other questions from council, all in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you. Excuse me, before we get to bylaws, I just wanted to do a little update for you. On Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024, I had the privilege of being part of a delegation before MPP Laura Smith, Parliamentary Assistant for the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Sport. The delegation represented Renfrew, Hastings, Haliburton, Frontenac, and Lanark counties. The purpose of this meeting was to highlight the provincial funding model for regional tourism and organization. This funding model is based on roofed accommodations only. Because our region is entirely rural, we don't have the level of branded properties, hotels, motels, compared to the well-resourced, economic, diverse urban centers. Therefore, those areas receive more tourism percentage of money because they have more roofed accommodations. We do, however, we have campgrounds, we have B&Bs, we have crown land camping, and we have short-term rentals that are currently not represented by this funding model. So we do have tourists coming to our area and all the other counties that I listed that are not getting proper representation for funding. So this meeting that we had with the MPP to bring it to their attention is for them to look at the funding model and review it to see if we can get changes into the funding model to represent actual tourists in areas. And if we can get that funding model changed, then we'll have more money grants, availability for grants and funding for our area to promote tourism. And that also trickles down to showing the amount of traffic we get through, so that could possibly result in ability for infrastructure fundings as well. So I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention that I'm working hard on that with the other parties involved. So thank you. If there's any questions about it, please feel free to ask. No? Okay, we will move on to bylaws now. Bylaw 11.1, bylaw approval, resolution 36-23.
Be it resolved that the following bylaws, 10-2024 appoint fire chief, and 11-2024 capital projects debenture be deemed read a second and final time and passed by council, and furthermore, that 13-2024 confirmatory be deemed read a first, second, and final time and passed by council at the regular council meeting held February 15th, 2024.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Counselor Popke, second by Counselor Levesque. All, and, sorry,
Just to interject, so the clean yards,
just hang on, just gonna get your mic on.
so the clean yards one is deferred, right? So,
I didn't list it.
okay, I'm sorry. I missed-
Sorry, so I excluded clean yards by law 12-2020 for the resolution deferred.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Now we'll get to Counselor Thompson's favorite part. You can't put your hand up yet. Motion to adjourn, 12.1.
That the regular council meeting of February 15th, 2024 be adjourned at 3:50 PM.
Thank you. We have a mover of Counselor Thompson already. Do we have a seconder? Counselor Levesque. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. We are adjourned, and thank you all, and please be safe. We have some a weather advisory coming in, so drive safely.